Crosby's out there, he's got the puck. Karlsson loads up, shot, scores! Erik Karlsson, the hero!
Hey there, Twisters. What an amazing game last night we saw between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings, as both teams are trying to squeak into the playoffs in the final few games here of the regular season. And tonight it was all about the star players for both teams. They showed up and they gave us an absolute spectacle and something that really does sort of whet our appetite as we get into the playoffs in just a little bit here. So it all started in the first period with guess who, Sidney Crosby, setting up from behind the net and assisting on the first goal to Drew O'Connor. Then the Red Wings tie things up with some outstanding forechecking from Alex DeBrincat and Lucas Raymond crashing the net. Not the only time we'll mention him tonight. Rickard Rakell makes a great play from center ice to feed Michael Bunting. Touch pass over to Chris Letang for the Penguins to get the 2-1 lead. Then Detroit equalizes on a give and go with Alex DeBrincat and once again Lucas Raymond in the final minute of the first period, so Detroit maybe with some momentum heading into the second. In the second period, we see Brian Rust waiting for Sidney Crosby to charge into the zone. What a fantastic pass to put the Penguins on top once again. And then in this sequence, Moritz Seider knocks down Marcus Pettersson, who accidentally trips up Raymond, so he's not able to corral possession there. And then Riley Smith jumps on it and feeds Brian Rust for a bar down snipe. But trailing by 2 in the final minute of the second period, Moritz Seider is able to sort of draw 2 defenders, and that creates some open ice for Jeff Petrie, and he buries it against his former team, and the Wings head into the locker room just down 4-3. But with the Red Wings on the power play, it's Jeff Carter knocking away a pass from Daniel Sprong, goes on a breakaway, and he buries what I thought was kind of the back-breaking goal, but Detroit would answer back with 7 minutes left. Look at how Lucas Raymond gets that inside positioning on Pettersson, and for whatever reason, Erik Karlsson went behind the goal line, and that left Dylan Larkin in front of the net to make it 5-4. And then just 2 minutes later, Larkin making a great play along the boards to an open Lucas Raymond, and Raymond gets the equalizer and the hat trick. And I also noticed the broadcast calling out Erik Karlsson for pinching at the other end of the ice. So my friends, that brought us to overtime, so each team does get at least 1 point. Larkin and Seider had a bit of a 2-on-1, Nedeljkovic with a great save off of Larkin, and then at the other end, it's guess who, Sidney Crosby in front of the net, winning that battle and feeding Erik Karlsson. With that helper, Sidney Crosby reached his 1,000th career assist, and with that same play, he passed Phil Esposito now for 10th all-time in scoring. And for Karlsson, he kind of redeems himself after a couple of bad plays in the third period, an absolute bomb, and that's why they're paying him $10 million. So what this means is that the Penguins now slip into the second wildcard spot. They're 1 point ahead of the Red Wings, the Capitals, and the Flyers. They've played one fewer game than Philly. The Red Wings do get a point though, so they do hang around. And for Pittsburgh to wrap things up and clinch a playoff spot, it might be a little bit challenging given that the Islanders have created a little bit of separation. They're 3 points ahead of Pittsburgh. However, that's the final game of the season between those two teams at UBS Arena. But the Penguins will probably want to pick up a couple of points against the Boston Bruins and against the Nashville Predators. So it's not going to come all that easily. But with Sidney Crosby leading the charge, anything is possible for this Pittsburgh team. And with the way he's playing, I wonder, is there a possibility that Sidney Crosby bringing the team on his back into the playoffs potentially, would he get into the Hart Trophy conversation, or is it too crowded already with some of the guys we talked about in our previous video on Nathan MacKinnon? Check that out if you haven't already. Even if that doesn't happen, you have to credit Crosby for playing some of the best hockey we've seen from somebody in the back half of their career as they get into their mid or even late 30s. He's already at almost 1,600 career points. These are some of the legends that he passed in scoring in this season alone. We're talking about Paul Coffey, Joe Thornton, Mark Recchi, Phil Esposito, and Ray Bourque. And next year, the guy he's going to overtake is most likely Joe Sakic. And on top of it, he was just named the most complete player in the NHL by the NHLPA. So that's the players saying that Sid is maybe one of the toughest, if not the toughest player to compete against. So what do you think, guys? Will the Penguins secure a playoff spot with some tough competition ahead? Which team do you want to see them face in the first round? They'll face either the top seed in the conference, that would be the Rangers, the Bruins, maybe even the Panthers, or if they finish third in their division, they would take on the Carolina Hurricanes most likely. Let me know your thoughts, guys, and stick around for more videos and live streams during the playoffs. It's going to be a hell of a 2 months with you awesome Twisters out there. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Leave a thumbs up. I'm Nick, and I'll catch you later. Ciao.